Good
All
evening,
right.
friends, or I should say, good day, friends. It's Tim Kirby Russia back with you. Sorry for a lack of episodes recently. Today we have Ilona Linart is with us, and she's going to tell us about herself very soon because she hosts a podcast or program, I should say, about women and business in Russia, which is a pretty unique combination. And as we all know, business in Russia is a pretty hot topic as of recently. So, Ilona, could you tell us about your project? What are you doing? Why did you choose to do this? Oh, especially women in business. What's the whole background to this thing?
Yes, first of all, thank you, Tim, very much for invitation to your interview because this is my first performance in English since I came back from States, and my English is getting slowly down. So please be patient. I'm very appreciative if you do.
Don't worry, my English is getting more and more confused. Russians are always like, one day you're going to speak English with an accent. No, I'll never speak English like with an accent, but I will speak it like an idiot because I can't remember anything.
Oh
You
my
know.
God.
But anyways, that's my problem, not your problem. So, anyways, tell us about your program here. What are you trying to do? What's the goal? What motivated you to do this?
So first, I opened my channel, my YouTube channel, with my one of my best friend, Yelena, and we both worked in hiring. I don't know, more than like 15 years. So we decided that we want something, some business,
Mm-hmm.
and we're like, okay, do we want our business? Yes, we do. Do we know how to do it? How to make it? No, we don't. So we probably definitely need to speak with someone who knows better,
Mm-hmm.
and this was the main reason, the main idea of why we created YouTube channel. So why? Well, the most our guests are women because
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure that being a businessman is much more easier than being a businesswoman in Russia.
Okay, well, no,
Because
that's a bold statement there. You got to explain yourself. Sorry. Maybe a better interviewer might be able to lead back to that question, but I need an answer to that. That's interesting. Why?
well, because Russia is like we have to start from the beginning. Russia is both patriarchal. I don't know if I spelled this word right. Patriarchal,
Patriarchal. Wait, patriarchal or
patriarchal.
patriarchal? There might be. I don't even know how many. What are those called? Syllables are in that word. But anyways, yeah,
Yeah, so it's like patriarch, whatever.
yeah,
This
that.
one, and this is like the man's world, and the woman's world are together.
Mm-hmm.
So in general line, in Russia has a strong position about the genders and the duties. So like when you are a female woman, you are first the mother, the
Mm-hmm.
wife, and after all, like whatever specialist or businesswoman, and the male are more caring about bringing the money to the family, about the financial stuff, and the women like are a gentle flower, need to be cared and protected.
No.
So you know what I'm saying, right? It's
Yeah.
like you live in Russia more than
I know,
20
but I'm
years.
just saying that I've seen a lot of the opposite. I've spent a lot of time in Moscow, and the sort of especially women, because I mentioned to people on my channel how women in Moscow are different from the rest of the country. And kind of what you're describing
Exactly.
looks to be a little bit like the rest of the country, but I don't know. A lot of women in Moscow don't see themselves as being a gentle flower that needs to find a husband to protect them. So I don't know. The Soviet Union did a good job of beating the idea into women's heads that you need to work too. you know?
Yes, exactly. But still, it's more popular, like what you said. It's more popular when you are around 20, 25 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And when you are getting elder,
Yeah.
around 30, 35, you like coming back to the beginning,
Mm-hmm.
to the traditional stuff.
Yeah.
So this is from my perception. And plus, of course, Moscow, it's not the Russia. It's not the whole Russia. This is a
Mm-hmm.
completely different country, I would say.
Yeah.
Completely different world. And but honestly, inside of this man's world, it's very convenient to be a woman, because
Mm-hmm.
woman has absolutely freedom, like
Yeah.
everything for a woman. Ladies first, and oh wow, look at her, she's such a nice woman, let's give her our best deal or our best whole
Oh.
price. So being a woman in a business is it's a kind of convenient, and that's why I'm saying the Russia is a both. for men's and for women's. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
So maybe you could say one thing that I try to also tell people is I've noticed that for women, in a lot of ways, softness is women's strength. Like women who are really soft and
Exactly.
feminine tend to just have things thrown at them. They have the world thrown at them to gather up. For men, the challenge is becoming really tough and strong, and for women, it's kind of the opposite. But okay, so
Yeah.
all right. But anyways, so back to your project. So you and your best friend wanted to get some business experience. So you thought, why not talk to people in business? That's the background here. So,
Yes.
what kind of things have you discovered along the way? From people you've talked to that have sort of opened your eyes to the Russian business world.
Well, the first of all, we started I'm started being a seller on marketplaces like
Mm-hmm.
Wildberries, because this is like the easiest business you can create from the zero, like
Yeah.
from the almost zero. You don't need to have a lot of money to start. And my friend opened the clothing store,
Oh.
so like the real one. So it was like the good thing. But from another thing, I met a lot of women who is actually how to say it, not like in the female concept, like I just explained.
Oh. So what you
Uh,
said, to put it more simply, they were sort of manly.
Exactly,
Okay.
exactly.
Yeah.
So when you are earn a lot, when you are becoming a real business woman, I would say you like a bit turning like being a man,
Yeah.
and this is a bit disappointing for me, because I'm always trying to find the balance between motherhood and between being a businesswoman,
Mm-hmm.
and it's difficult, but this is, I think, our life. We always are looking for a balance in
Well,
our life.
I can tell you that actually the opposite is true because I think a lot of times there are some guys who do stay home with the kids in Russia. I know a few of them, and I think it slowly destroys them. I think men are supposed to be like
Exactly,
out and
of
doing
course.
something, and when you're constantly trying to care for other people, you're not sort of in your man zone. So, anyways, you think that because one of my questions on our sort of official list here were some business ideas that some foreigners might want to do in Russia. So, what you're saying is one of the easiest things you can do is somehow get some stuff and try to sell it on Wildberries and Ozone and what is it, Yandex Marketplace and all that stuff. What are some other like simple business ideas that especially a foreign person could do, man or woman?
Well, I still I persist that the Wildberries, like marketplaces, this is the best point for foreigners,
Yeah.
because Wildberries are kind of trying to catch up on Amazon, and well, this is like not good, not successful yet, but they really do. They really want to do it, being
Mm-hmm.
like Amazon in US. So whatever you see in Amazon, you can just bring it to Russia, and it definitely will have a success. And
Mm-hmm.
it's easy for foreigners because foreigners are live inside of this,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
they can see the trends, they can see the products. And I'm pretty sure that US still is the trendsetter, and Russia is like I don't want to say like catching up country, but it's true, catching up country in some points regarding the products and stuff. So whatever you see is popular in the United States, it's definitely will be popular in Russia, if we are talking about retail.
Mm-hmm. So the key
So
is to
yeah, this
copy.
is my point. I mean, that's what I see. That's what I do when I'm selling in marketplaces. I'm just analyzing the Amazon trends, and then I just bring it to Russian marketplaces,
Mm-hmm.
and I definitely have a success.
Well, yeah, because I can tell you that in terms of business, there have been a few waves of that. Like when stuff comes from the West, probably the first. Maybe I don't know about the first one. The first one is not from the West. It was sushi. At some point in time, I think in like the late '90s, early 2000s, that was the sushi explosion. Then
Ah,
there was the coffee explosion, because in theory it sounds
coffee
cheap.
explosion. No,
Yeah,
I'm not sure about
there
that.
is
You sure?
so many cafes that have coffee. There's like what Stars Coffee, formerly Starbucks, One Price Coffee, Double B, Skuratov. There's a few other ones like the
But
Cold.
it's always been like that. I mean, this is
No,
no, it is. It's in
it
the
was
Russian
not like that
traditions,
under
like teas
Brezhnev.
and coffees. What?
It was not like that under Brezhnev.
Well, I don't know. I'm just 36, you know. I don't remember what being under Brezhnev.
Well,
But I mean, it's always been in a Russian tradition,
uh,
like teas and coffees, a lot of this
mhm.
stuff. So I don't know. Seems like not something new.
Well, it's just I've been watching some videos in Russian on like RuTube and VK about small business and stuff. And one, they keep always mentioning that the most enticing thing for a lot of people is just open a coffee shop. All you need is like 6 square meters and a coffee machine. And the people say it sounds like the easiest business to start, but it's actually a nightmare because the competition level is just so high in the coffee universe that it's kind of
Yes,
impossible.
you can't compete with this, so don't even try to open the cafes or like restaurants, or
Oh
it's too
yeah.
much of this. Or and especially the beauty salons, because no
Uh,
one knows how to make the beauty better than Russian women.
oh
So
really? Oh okay.
exactly. So don't even try to compete in this sphere.
Yeah.
You're gonna lose.
All right. Well, the guys who cut my hair are all from Uzbekistan and Kyrgyzstan, so they're the masters of male
Well, we're
beauty
talking
down
about
there.
the barber shop, right? The
Yeah, yeah,
barber shop is a bit different. This is just like barber shop. This is a man's
yeah.
hair cutting.
No, but I
This
go to
is
the cheap. I go to the cheap place because there's in Russia. See, the problem is there's when they call it a barber shop, it's more like a haircutting experience. Whereas I just go into this basement of this one building where there's guys from Central Asia who cut your hair for. Sadly, it's already up to 800 rubles. That's brutal. I remember when it used to be like 300. Those were the days.
this is
But
yes, like my husband, he likes this stuff too. But
yeah,
it has nothing to do with like beauty, you know. I mean,
yeah.
like the women's beauty and all this manicure, pedicure, a spa.
Yeah. Well, see, my problem is that I'm someone who sort of talks for a living. So when I'm talking to someone like you right now, I'm having a good time. But like in my own personal life, it's like I don't want to pay more money to go to this barber shop because I think one of the things that people really enjoy about it is like the human interaction and talking, and I have enough human interaction, way too much human interaction. I kind of just like the guys who come in and just say, "How you doing? Fine," bzzzt, and take all the
Okay,
hair
let's
off.
start. Yes,
Yeah,
yes, exactly.
that's more introvert Tim in action. But anyways, what are some other? So we talked about the online marketplaces. What are some other kind of things that you think would be good businesses for foreign people to come here and do?
You know, right now is very popular some podcast studios,
Mm-hmm.
and because everybody is creating YouTube channels, if it's not YouTube, it's a kind of podcasts, and even with the YouTube blocked in Russia,
Yeah.
everybody filming something, some content. And just like a week ago, I had interview with some guys who opened the podcast studios, and they like opened 3 months ago, and they doing pretty good. Like they just decided to build a podcast studio. It's a kind of production studio,
Yeah.
and the podcast with no knowledges, with no connections. They just decided, okay, let's just open this because everybody's doing the content. So I think it would be a good.
Yeah, and guess
And
what? When I film my sort of more serious stuff that I do in Russian, like for VK and OK and all that stuff, I use those. My producers, very often because it winds up being sort of cheaper and easier to just go somewhere where you have this gorgeous background, perfect lighting,
yes.
all the cameras are set up, they hit the button record, and you have like 4 cameras at 4 perfect angles doing this recording. It's so nice. Or for the other day, I cannot believe my producer was able to find this. We were talking to someone who who immigrated to Russia from Jordan, and although the
Hmm.
background kind of looked more like Morocco than Jordan, it was awesome because we're talking to a person from the Middle East in this like Middle Eastern universe, but it's just some weird place in some building in Moscow. So yeah, it's pretty cool. A lot of them tend to have these like different rooms where each room has a different like theme to it. So yeah, it's a
The
pretty cool
problem,
setup.
yes, and but the problem is that to open the podcast studio, you need the minimum around 5 to 8 million rubles,
Well, yeah,
because you know how much these microphones and the cameras
yeah.
costs a lot. So it's maybe not so much for Americans
Mm-hmm.
because like you could use the power of dollar,
Yeah.
but this is pretty much for Middle Russian.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah,
And
but I would
this
also
is my
say one scary thing about that though is if I were going to do that, I'd want to buy the commercial real estate and not rent it, because whenever you rent and you set up a lot of stuff on rented property, the owner can always change their mind, and ruin your business, just like that. So okay, so we have podcast studios and stuff. Any other?
But this is like always, I mean, and I think buying some commercials, I don't know. Well, actually, maybe it's a good idea. Yes, I can tell.
No,
I
well,
would prefer. I prefer to rent because maybe if location is not good in the future, or you understand you have no, you don't earn from this location, you can just switch it like that.
that's
You
true.
know.
No, that's true. Well, I guess it kind of depends on your balance there. All right. So,
Yes.
well, so anyways, oh, so anyways, how has business changed in Russia after the war? Since I've been banned on YouTube, I can say all sorts of words like war, murder, death. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect Rumble or Twitter/X. So, anyways, how has business changed in Russia since the war started?
You mean the war between Russia and Ukraine?
Correct.
Um, I would say actually, this might be a very strange, but I would say everybody started to make their own business.
Oh,
uh, a lot
interesting.
of a lot of yes, we have a lot of businessmen right now. Everybody wants to make something, some, don't work in hiring,
Hmm.
and to do something
Well,
for
wait, why?
themselves.
Why? Because all the Western companies vanished, or is there just some sort of new spirit in Russia, or what? What's the reason?
Well, actually, I think one of the point is about the Western companies. They left from the Russian market. Yes,
Hmm.
but the main idea is the fear. You know, people are
Hmm.
afraid of what's going to happen tomorrow. So, I mean, the war is always stress, right?
Yeah.
This is not secret. It's always stressful. People are panic, and people are afraid. Nobody likes war, and when you have a fear, you like okay, you you started to rush. Okay, I need to do something. I need to do something
Uh,
real quick. Okay, I need to earn more. I need to save more, earn more, and then save more, and put my money somewhere to the foreigner banking. To save
yeah.
it, whatever. And that's why a lot of people just rush in themselves to do something. So I think
Oh.
this is the main reason.
Well, then that's actually kind of a good motivation. I don't know, but I can tell you one thing. I've had a lot of sleepless nights because of the war. I get a lot of nightmares and stuff. So, and I never served in the military. So, oh, all right. Well, that's good. I can definitely see that. Yeah, with the Western companies leaving, there was a lot of room to sort of fill in. But I also think that it could be the younger generation because you are obviously a lot younger than I am, and a lot of other people who are
By the
I don't
way,
know.
I'm sorry, but I always wanted to ask you, how old are you?
I was born in 1981, so what does that make me? 44? 43? I don't even remember.
43.
In my
Okay.
40s. Yeah.
Well, yes. Anyway, it's just a number. I was just curious.
Well, I can tell you one thing. There is a big difference. When you talk to people who are sort of from the generation of like the DTSSR, like the kids of the USSR, who sort of were either teenagers or at least children when communism ended and there were the 90s, and then you talk to people who are like the generation after that and beyond, there's a huge difference in attitude towards business. Basically, my generation older, everything's impossible. You can't do anything. They won't let you succeed. And then young people who are growing up now all want to, have their Dubai chocolate and try to start their own business, even if they really don't know how. But they're a lot more entrepreneurial. Maybe I'd even say American in a very good sense of the word. Stuff like that. Would you agree with that, or you think I'm full of it?
Sorry, agree with what? I missed the last
That
one.
people who are essentially around my age and older are very pessimistic
Yeah.
about business in Russia.
Yes.
People who are of the younger generations are a lot more optimistic.
Yes, yes, I agree about this because, well, not maybe your age, but elder than you,
Yeah.
and they are still remember the bad times from the past. So that makes them the pessimistic. Plus, when you are living in USSR, you don't really have to do anything because the government will do everything for you. You
Yeah.
know, so you like don't have to pushing yourself and protecting yourself because you know that you can lean on your government, and
Hmm.
this is a sometimes it's pretty convenient. And then when you are have a very clear way where are you going, and then it's like breaking and government telling you that okay, now we're done, now you go, you grow up, now go.
Yeah. Well, see, I much
And
prefer this the latter option because yeah, unfortunately, basically, I mentioned this because last night, an interview with me that was recorded a long time ago got released, and some people who don't know who I am wrote me a lot of hateful messages at night. So I guess they released it in like Vladivostok or something, time zone wise, because it was
mhm,
weird that they
mhm.
were all coming at night. Usually I get harassment during the day. But anyways,
Wow.
a lot of them were those type of people who are like, well, how can you say such nice things about Russia? I live like this. And it's like, guys, I've seen a lot of people who aren't living so good in Russia, but this attitude of let's all hope and dream that communism comes back so you can work very little and have the absolute minimum apartment with the absolute minimum amount of food, the absolute minimums of everything in life, 100% guaranteed. Like, I don't know. I don't want to live like that.
I
But
mean,
there are a lot of people who do. Hmm.
the people who is always complaining
Yeah.
and they are will be unhappy in any part of the world. I think this is
Yeah.
more like a mental problem to my perception. I don't know, I don't want to offend anyone, but this is what I really think.
Yeah. And yeah, and also this person was telling it to someone who came to Russia with like $200 in their pocket. Like I came here with nothing, and I don't come from money, even though I'm from America and stuff like that. So I've become a lot more
Yes,
like
your
Republican
story
American.
is great. Your story, I like your stories a lot because this is actually a miracle. You are a foreigner and you came to Russia with nothing, and now look at you.
Well, yeah. See, I kind of have the American dream, but over here. So that's kind of
Hmm,
how uh,
yes, yes, that's true.
kind of how it worked out. Okay, so yeah, one thing I wanted to definitely ask you is, from what I understand, you also mentioned it that you have kids and a husband. So, like, how does the whole motherhood thing meld with doing business? Why do I ask? Because I see an incredible new opportunity for women has come up recently. The whole working from home thing, because I have the people who help my most Russian American project. All the women except for wait, all the women on the SMM side have kids, but they also do like SMM work. And it's okay, this is a long story. Basically, in medieval times, women did a lot of things that you could do a pause. Like you milk the cow, something happens with the kid, you deal with the kid, you continue milking the cow. You're making clothing, right? You can sew, something happens with the kids, you stop, you continue sewing. A lot of those kind of pausable tasks were for women, and SMM work kind of works out that way. Like you don't have to be glued to SMM. You can like do it, something happens, you put it down, you come back to it later. And I see the women around me in Russia doing that. And they can sort of have this income and this a little bit of a distraction from the kids, but they can also have kids. So that's kind of what I'm getting at is like, what do you see as the opportunities around you to be both mom and business lady?
Well, for me, connecting motherhood with the business, being like a businesswoman, don't work well. Doesn't work
Oh,
well.
why?
Like as I said, I always like try to find the balance because well, first I never work from home.
Mm,
Well, we have like okay, we have a big apartment. We have 4 bedroom apartment, and I have my own cabinet. Well, this is actually my husband's cabinet, but whatever.
yeah, well,
So I can work there. But I don't do it. I always, if I need to do something for my marketplaces, I always go in some co-working place and work there
mm,
because it's just impossible to stay in the one building with your kids for your kids not calling you mom, mom,
mom.
hello, hello, mom. So I'm just leaving. And plus, a lot of women are interviewed. They are all now like they are starting from the zero or
Yeah.
almost from the zero or even from the minus. and now they are millionaires. Like they earn very good, and right now they are delegated all their life to the stuff. They have nanny, they have cooker, they have
Oh,
cleaner. I don't
well,
know, maybe they have lover for the husband.
uh,
Probably they do.
hey, I get a lot of messages from people. Who knows? So, but anyways, well, yeah, that's one of the
This is
problems,
not
though.
my choice. I mean, this is not my choice. I'm not support this thing to
Well,
delegate your life or delegate your family to
yeah, well,
somebody.
because there's two things on the practical level. A lot of women that do that, essentially, they wind up not making much money because the cost of all this nannies and whatever else, lovers, winds up being pretty expensive and kind of nullifies what they're trying to do in many cases. And also, on the other hand, is you got to have some contact with your own children. I mean, you can't just like trust. I know some. Basically, when my kids were really little, we actually had some cleaning people come, and they would tell us stories from rich people in Russia. And apparently, the people that they cleaned for, and all these rich Russians, Armenians as well, their children are just entities. They give birth to them, and then nannies take care of them. Nannies from frickin' Thailand or wherever. So that is not good family values. That is not a good.
I mean, yeah, why do you need the family? Why do you need the kids in this way? So, right? Why
Yeah,
did you actually create the family and create the kids? So, anyway, this is not my concept.
yeah.
So, I'm trying to put the family first always, and then like the business on the second place. Well,
Mm-hmm.
this is not good for the business. And that's why probably I still don't have my personal jet.
Well, the thing is, how well that might take a while. So how old are the kids? Is the question.
5 and 2.
Oh, well,
Five,
that's
the
why you
boy
got all
and
the
two.
mama. Guess what? Once they become like 7, 8, 9, all of a sudden, especially if you give them a good boot in the butt and they have hobbies and stuff, all that vanishes. All that mama
No,
stuff can
still
really
no. I
vanish.
disagree. I completely disagree with this because when they're 7, when they're 10, when they whatever 14, 15, you still need to keep an eye on it. And plus, you need to help with the school tasks, and you need to. Well, my kids has a lot of sections, so
Mm-hmm.
they go in for swimming pool, and
Oh,
whatever,
that's
like any
yeah,
sports and dancing. And I'm always with them, always um, escorting them to this
yeah,
and cooking and cleaning and whatever.
yeah.
So I don't have the illusion that it would be better someday.
Oh
Like
well, I don't know.
mother
See,
and
that's a
wife, this is it's forever, or unless until 18 years old of your kids.
well, I don't know about that. My kids have gotten pretty
Exactly.
big, and once they can use the bus and the subway system by themselves, generally that's a whole other universe. Okay, and so my last question, we kind of covered this, but I wanted to definitely get your opinion. Is there's this expression, basically, when I talk to a lot of people about Russia, they always say there's business по-русски, the business the Russian way, and that it's somehow some kind of awful negative. But I kind of feel there's some truth to it, but sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. In your opinion, is there still this culture of business по-русски in Russia, or is that something of like the 90s?
No, when we are sought with my friend how to name our channel, we're like, okay, let's just call it like this. But this is not something negative. It's, because we had a lot of these stories, like with these guys who opened these podcast studios. They just had like 14 million rubles, and they decided, okay, we want to do some business. Do we?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, we do. We want to open some podcast studio. Okay, let's just do it. Do I have a business plan? No. Do I
Oh,
have business knowledge? No. Okay, let's just do it.
uh,
So business по-русски or Russian business has their own spirit. It's desperate, a bit, brave, a bit stupid, a bit hardcore style.
yeah. Well,
Or, for example, I has another. Sorry, I'm
go,
gonna
go, go,
interrupt
go,
you.
go. Yeah.
Another interesting story with the woman who was absolutely not even on the zero level, but less. And she has no money to buy a metro ticket, subway ticket. So, and then she thought, okay, Probably I need to make my own business. So she saw the advertised somewhere on internet about selling the beauty, somebody selling the beauty salon. So she
Mhm.
decided, okay, maybe I need to take another credit, bank credit, and buy this salon. So she did this without any knowledges, without being, I don't know, a waitress. She been a waitress,
Oh.
but she was brave. She was, very desperate woman, and now this is uh, it's not even one of the most. This is the most popular beauty chain. Probably, if you see this, four hands,
Yeah, I've seen
you
that. Yeah,
probably don't.
something. Yeah, yeah,
You
yeah,
do
yeah,
a pink letters, four hands, nails up.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes. So this is her, and she has even two beauty salons in the United States, actually in Los Angeles now. You know,
Oh,
she's one of the richest women in Russia. Well,
oh,
yes,
wow, that's
and
crazy.
that's why. Yes, and I think in the United States, I mean, if we're talking about the states, I lived in states, and I'm still pretty sure that Americans are better businessmen than Russians because
Mhm.
they knows how to make the business proper. So if American, to my perception,
Yeah,
if American wants to make the business, he would probably have this business plan, calculate everything, and then open something which would definitely works. Maybe not definitely, but with 90% will works.
yeah,
And Russians like, okay, let's just do it, and then we'll see what's happened. Okay,
yeah.
we just have 14 to 15 millions. Yes,
Well, I
we
would
open the
say what
salon.
you said about the Russian thing. How you said these people had 14 million rubles and they needed something to like do with them. That is very Russian. I think that's like the big difference
Mm-hmm.
where somehow
Yes,
I amassed some sort of wealth and I just have to do something with it because it'll vanish as a very Russian way of looking at the world. Whereas in America, life has been much more stable. So that's when people are thinking, well, I should probably turn that money into an investment or maybe take out a retirement
exactly,
portfolio. Whereas no one in Russia thinks about that. Well, maybe not no one, but few people do. That's a big difference. About whether the average
exactly.
American could write a really good business plan, I don't know. I do think that we in America definitely have better genetics. I don't know what to call it.
Yes,
Cultural
yes, you're
cultural
absolutely
genetics.
right.
Yeah,
Yes,
for that
it's
kind
like
of
in the
thing.
DNA.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
Yeah, the entrepreneurial spirit is a bit higher. But if you've ever watched certain reality shows like Kitchen Nightmares, where Gordon Ramsay visits all these failing restaurants, obviously not everyone does everything with a plan. If there's any truth to those shows, anyways.
Well, yes, but I would say like in America, it's more about thinking, about counting, and about have at
Mm.
least some business plan than in Russia. In Russia, very small amount of startuppers has this
Yeah.
calculations or so in a general mostly like people say let's just do it. Okay, let's just do it. If we win, we win. If we lose, we lose. Then at least we're gonna try some romantic, stupid thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and again, it kind of depends who you talk to, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. Because a lot of the people who are the more pro-Soviet Union would say that's awful. Why do we all have to fight so hard for everything? Or the whole thing about it's a dog eat dog world. They don't like that. But I see it as sort of a good thing where, like, if you try something and you succeed, you can really achieve a lot, and it forces people to try things rather than just sit there. So I don't know. That's the way I see things.
I
But
think Russia is all about the trials. This
yeah.
is like all about the trials, all about the where people is opportunists.
Trials is in like trial and error, like just trying things.
Yes, yes, like trying things.
All right. Okay, well, Ilona, is there anything else you'd like to tell my audience? I know your work is mostly in Russian there, but you speak great English. How can
Oh
people
no, no,
find
no!
out
My
more?
English is not great. I'm
Uh,
so sorry about my English for today because I used to speak perfectly when I lived in States, and now I feel like I speak like Tajik person. I don't
oh,
know.
maybe maybe a little bit. To be honest, though, most of the people from actually one of my old bosses when I worked at the radio was Tajik, and his Russian was absolutely perfect because he had to work on the radio for years. So so that was
Yes,
kind of funny. He
yes.
had the Tajik physical look, but he had the golden tones of a professional DJ. But
Well, yes, it
so
depends.
yeah, but anyways, so how can people maybe find out or contact you if they have any ideas or view your projects? Because we do have some Russians who listen to this program in English. These people are nuts.
Oh, yes. Well, no, I'm listening to your actually your program too.
Oh, so you're part of the
Because
nuts crew. Okay.
yes, I heard many because when I'm want to listen something in English to improve my language, so I'm turning on you
Oh, all
and
right.
your channel. I mean your program.
Well, then it depends on
Well,
because sorry, it depends on my energy level because the more tired I am, the more Ohioan I become, man. You know, it's for freaking Trump, man, man. That kind of comes out. But today I have energy, so I should be more eloquent than usual. But anyways, again, how can people find out about you or contact you if they really want to?
well, you can just put it on YouTube, Ilona Linart, Russian business, and then you'll find me. This is me and the bear on the avatar.
Okay. I'll try to put a link in the
Yes,
description to be convenient.
me, bear, and the dollars.
Yeah. In fact, how about you send me a link right into our Telegram chat after this? Okay, friends.
Yes, sure.
So Ilona Linart, running a channel on YouTube about business from a woman's perspective in Russia. Thank you very much for your optimistic tales, and I feel better about my opportunities in Russia myself. Anyways, friends, Tim Kirby Russia signing out.